Hey everybody, Brad here. Just a brief word before the actual meat and potatoes of this video starts because I'm concerned. I'm concerned that if you jump away before you hear the whole thought, you may think the wrong thing and you may get irritated. You may think I'm trying to stir up weird emotions, fear. I'm not. And if you stay to the end of the video, you will see exactly the opposite. As a matter of fact, for those who are willing to hear and willing to listen, I think there is plenty of hope. I think it's amazing what is going to be offered, not by me, but you'll see. And no, this is not a sales video or anything stupid like that. It's not. You'll see, but I just don't want you to jump away before the end because you may think that I am trying to stir up things that don't need to be stirred up. Well, actually, this time, this is really important that we stir things up so that we can see and understand and then make decisions on your own, for your own, based on the whole story, not just part of it. And yes, folks, if you are a Christian, you have great reason to hope. And no, I'm not thinking that God in any way loses. And if you're not a Christian, you really might want to listen to this. So here we go. Hey everybody, it's Brad. Quick thing that has been hot on my mind, and my wife, who's holding the camera, is are you a willing recipient of this information or an unwilling participant of the conversation?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Willing recipient. I thought you were going somewhere else.
So here's the deal. Good. Here's the deal, guys. I was watching the interview with Tucker Carlson and Alexander Dugin. If you don't know, you should probably watch this because in the land of the free, in the land of free speech, in the land of America, his books are not allowed here. Yeah, there's people in political power that I don't need to name, you know, they have banned his books because they're dangerous. And I saw this interview, and the funny thing about this dangerous topic in the books was that the progression of how humans have gone from groups, collective groups, to individualism, to wokeism, and just the process of how it is and what's coming next. That is why they say these books are too dangerous for you to read, because you apparently are not smart enough to decide for yourself what you feel like God has told you to do, what is right and wrong. You're not able to make those decisions on your own. So our big loving brother in the sky that lives in Washington has decided for you that you will not read these books because the thought is too dangerous. Well, here's the thing that I felt like when I was watching this, and I really want to ask you a question about it. Go watch it. I think it's well worth your time. Well worth your time. But the ideas that these guys have that I've seen, this Alexander Dugin, his thoughts are not exactly new, but they put a real nice fine point on it. And here's where ultimately he thinks that society is going, is not just one world government. That's part of it. Like all of these things, all of the woke revolution, all of it's driving to a one world government, which that's kind of easy to see. I mean, if you look at the way that governments are positioning themselves and buddying up, and the way that laws bleed across entire nations, and furthermore, how corporations are just as powerful as governments now.
Yeah.
That's Christa.
Yeah.
And do you think corporations really want to have to deal with 20 different nations' laws and rules and regulations, or 30 different nations, or 5. Wouldn't it be easier for them to have one? We can see that most certainly the globalization push is big time, and they'll use anything to get you to feel like we have to get to one world government. That's coming, but that's not the biggest thing that I have often thought. Well, what's after that? It's transhumanism. Transhumanism. Think about it. Transitioning away from humanism. If you guys have followed any kind of tech at all, you know that there are implantable chips. It's not science fiction anymore, that can do all kinds of what we would view as superhuman things for people that have blindness and autism and disability and all kinds of things that are great, but are also creating super abilities. With the advent of supercomputers, there are now ways to manipulate DNA at a level that people are doing it straight into babies, and it's going to get more and more and more. Why wouldn't you want to have a baby that was tall and handsome or beautiful and smarter than everybody else? Wouldn't you want that for your kid? Everybody's going to want that. Well, what's the next logical progression? As computers and quantum mechanics and quantum computing comes online, which is this close, when that happens, people that decide, well, we don't want to have that in our lives, and then, because we don't, and the people that do, there'll be a tear. There'll be a rift in society. The people that want to do it en natural, and then the people who don't. Well, I thought about that. And one thing that I think that a lot of these philosophers and big thinkers really have never hit on, they don't touch this point. The big thing is, how do they make this happen? Why do people willingly go down this road? And I was just talking to Christa about that. Because we love our phones and we love our tech, and I make music with computers and all that kind of stuff. We love the convenience, right? So we're willing to chip away for convenience little by little by little when you don't really think you're actually giving anything up.
Yeah, you are.
But you are. Mm-hmm. Little by little by little, all of a sudden the frog is boiled in the pot.
Yep.
Well, then I thought, okay, this transhumanism thing, that's more than a big jump. That's a big jump. How do people go from convenience, or, boy, wouldn't it be nice if I could use AI to compile all these data points for my work, and then I look like a rock star and I get a raise and yada. How do we go from that to man now creates everything, does everything, is everything? Any thought you could think up is already in a database that you already have in your head because you just thought it. It's instantly connected to the world compendium of information. Instantly. You already have it in your hand. You already have it. It's not a big jump to go from that to just thinking it. But how do you go from that kind of tech to transhumanism, where your thoughts, your soul, and I don't mean this in a good way. I do not mean this in a good way. Could be, stored, kept going, uploaded into a new being. How do you go from that to this? And I thought this up. They have to erase God. When man thinks that man is the end all be all, I can be like God, I will be like God. Boy, oh boy, if you are a Bible reader or anybody who's interested in Christianity, you know what I'm talking about. There's somebody else who had that thought and then started to act on it. I will be like God. I am like God. You guys remember who that just might be? Satan. That is the core of what Satan was doing, was I will be like God. I am like God. And guess what? That's what man is doing. Now, here's what I think about that. Do I think it's happening? Yeah, I think it's happening. I really do. Do I think we should push back with everything we are? Absolutely. Do I think we should be in fear of any of this? Nope. Because God is bigger. Oh, to quote Veggie Tales, if you don't know the kids show Veggie Tales, God is bigger than the boogeyman. He's bigger than the monsters on TV. He's bigger than Satan. He's bigger than transhumanism. He's bigger than all of it. We have got to push back and not get sucked into that black hole of thinking that we can be like God. Ladies and gents, we need to pray more. We need to be actively engaged in Matthew chapter 28. I know that this channel is not normally the kind of channel that gets so active and saying, this is what we should be doing. Read it. Matthew chapter 28. Jesus gave every Christian, I don't care if you're a Catholic, Protestant, Baptist, non-denominational, whatever you are, if you say you're a Christian, you should be about Matthew chapter 28, because Jesus gave you those 3 specific instructions, none of which have to do with being like God.
Nope.
Pray more. Don't fear. It's coming. Be ready. Keep those wicks trimmed and those lamps lit. Amen?
Amen.
You guys have an awesome and blessed day.